Welcome back to the Boss Mode walkthrough series. This is still Chapter 6, Rotting Woods Normal Mode. We are doing a second run with the Goblin team. We already ran it once with the Undead team. We're going to run Goblins to use an alternative team here, just to give you some additional options. As per usual with my Green Goblin team, I almost always run it with Hansuke because of his max epic. He's going to continually buff the team. If you are feeling particularly risky, you could run it with Squinch as well. However, due to the blue enemies, I don't see the need of actually running Squinch because he's not going to do a ton anyways. He would certainly be helpful against the purple guys, but if you get a couple of bad RNGs and you get a room full of blues, one, they're going to damage him quite a bit, and two, they're going to not die as fast. So, one of the things that you should notice on this particular dungeon, using Goblin Dance Party to boost attack and crit, and then we're going to use Zerk. Dragon Punch, and much to my surprise, kills him, no critical attack. It's pretty rare to use Goblin Dance Party and not get a critical. I've had it happen multiple times, so I kind of brushed it off. Basically, though, as I've been looking at this, now look at that. Immune to crits. Immune to crit. So looking at these enemies, realizing, not paying attention, every single enemy in this dungeon has immunity to crit. So suddenly taking a goblin team does not look like the best idea. So if you're wondering why this video was twice as long as the undead team, you've now just found out why. So running a goblin team against this particular dungeon, even though the guys are not that strong and the bosses are pretty easy, you basically are at their mercy because you can't do any critical attacks. Your Goblin Dance Party can certainly increase damage, but you really need to micromanage your heals, your defensive buff from Nub Nub, and you need to use Vigilance if you're going to use this team, just so you can keep your guys alive. It's not going to be an easy run, so you want to be very cautious about that. So we could play through this and show all the micromanaging if you want, but all things considered, this is probably not the best team to run. Much like running goblins against King Kong, if you can't do critical attacks, the goblin team is not your best team to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fast forward this through the trash here until we get to the boss fight, and then we'll focus on that instead. All right, so I'm on the boss fight now, and then we have the same rules apply. Basically, they're immune to crit, so we have to find a better way to kill them since we can't crit. There's going to be a couple things involved here. Keeping vigilance on Hansuke will obviously help. Your defensive buff from Nub Nub will obviously help a little bit. Other than that, friend heroes are going to help quite a bit. Remember, they are susceptible to Marked for Death. So if you have friends who have Yorick, if you can get lucky and land one of those, obviously that would help quite a bit. But it's likely that you're going to have a tough time here unless your Goblin team is ruined out pretty well. They're not going to take many debuffs, so you can see that you're not going to daze much. The only reason I attack the blue with Zerk is because green versus blue is generally pretty effective. So he's probably going to be the easier one to kill to start with. As far as Nub Nub goes, you're not really interested in doing too much damage. His goal is going to be to keep the team alive against a crit immune pair of bosses. So, best bet, use heroes here. Try and whittle them down a little bit as best as possible. So, that's the name of the game for a lot of boss mode dungeons. Kozar's a popular one to summon. He does great damage, and he lowers defense for pretty much every boss that you take on. And the other nice thing is his attack is a physical attack. It's not a dark attack, so the bosses aren't immune to that. So other than that, slow play it. Hope you still have potions left. Use your best attacks with the Goblin team against the blue one. Kill him as fast as you can. And hope that your defense holds up. So using the haste, I use the haste here not so much so that I can get a second turn in most cases, but a lot of times I do it to try and dodge. Most of the bosses have perfect swing anyways, so it's not really helpful there. So really, since Bramble was frozen, I'm just giving a second attack to Zerk. A lot of times I'll give a second attack to Bramble because he hits a little bit harder, but being that he's diseased, that's not really a wise use of the skill. So very close to finishing off the blue one. He's not going to do much damage at this point here, so we can kill him with one more hit. And now it's just a matter of securing that victory for the last one. So he's only got a little bit of health left, so despite the lack of criticals for this team, we're still able to manage to get through it pretty reasonably. Just a matter of keep plugging away. And like I said, if you have a good use of a friend hero, Mark for Death could be really handy there. Otherwise, like I said, Kozar is pretty good as well. So we have one more iteration of normal mode, and then we'll be back for championship mode. So thanks for watching. Stop by again.